Hello and welcome to the ISG Jackson Induction DVD. The information in this presentation is aimed at providing you with the knowledge and instruction that you will need to enable you to work safely while on site. Our aim is to create a safe working environment for all concerned, so please listen carefully to this video and remember to be vigilant at all times. At the end of this induction, you may be tested on its content. Please remember our actions are for your safety and we want to provide a safe working environment, so failure to comply with written or verbally instructed safe systems of work, the deliberate abuse of anything provided in the interest of health, safety and welfare, or the intentional disregard of environmental responsibilities will result in your exclusion from the site. Site security. Access to the site is usually controlled by having to pass through either an unmanned gate to the site car park, where the accommodation can be accessed, or having to report to a gate person who will sign you in and direct you to the parking area. You may have to park away from the accommodation and use the pedestrian route provided. Your delivery drivers may also need to report to the site office before being unloaded. Following induction, you are asked to confirm your attendance on site by completing the worker log register. Some sites may have more stringent control systems, and these will be covered at the end of this general induction DVD. PPE. Before you set foot on site, it is imperative that you are fully dressed for the job and understand site operations. While on site, it is mandatory that all personnel wear safety helmets, clean, no paint and worn correctly, safety footwear, a high-vis bib or coat signed with employer's name, gloves suitable for the task, safety glasses, including prescription safety spectacles, and trousers, no shorts, and no bare torso in summer. A t-shirt must be worn as minimum. Additional protective equipment may be required, such as goggles, respiratory equipment, harnesses and hearing protection. Please use the apparatus provided by your employer, as it is there to help protect you. Drugs and alcohol. Alcohol and non-prescribed drugs are not permitted on the site. Anyone appearing to be under the influence will be excluded from the site, as not only does this put your life in danger, it also puts your colleagues' lives at risk. If you are taking any medication prescribed by a doctor, or are suffering from any medical condition which may affect your own safety and that of others, please inform the site manager. You should have noted this on the access authorization form before attending this induction. Smoking, mobile phones and MP3s. It is important that you take note that smoking is prohibited in any site accommodation and inside work vehicles. Smoking can only be carried out in designated areas. Each site is different, so your site manager will inform you of where the designated area is located. Mobile phones should preferably only be used within the office accommodation or compound areas. They must not be used whilst operating machinery or when near open excavations and plant movements. The use of iPods and MP3s is strictly forbidden. Radios may be permitted in designated areas. Hazards. Before you set out to start work, please read the daily hazard board, which will display current and new hazards identified so that you are aware of the changes on site. Study the instructions listed on the board, which you will find erected within the site compound. Competence and equipment. Work on site may only be carried out by those who are competent. Current evidence of competences must be provided to the site manager where it is applicable, before permission can be given to operate plant or equipment on site. The site operates a permit to work system, so if you are required to work in a confined space, hand or mechanically dig, remove a fence or carry out any hot works, please request a permit to work certificate. Failure to comply with this will result in expulsion from the site. Subcontractors must prepare site-specific and task-specific risk assessments and method statements. These must be briefed out by employers, understood and signed for by workers as an additional process to this induction before any work starts. All operators of machinery must have been trained, certificated and be competent operators. Please provide all documentation to prove your competence for the specific piece of equipment in question, so that authorization can be granted to carry out work. Failure to comply and produce a valid certificate will result in the operative being unable to operate the equipment, which may result in work being stopped. Daily checks of the equipment should be carried out. and all portable electrical apparatus brought onto the site display a current PAT electrical test certificate. Any equipment without the relevant pre-use or regular check or test certificate will not be allowed to be used. All powered electrical equipment will be strictly 110 volts or battery operated. Welfare and environment. We must take time to look after our surroundings and keep the site clean and tidy, so we ask that you leave things as you find them in a clean and tidy manner. Toilets and other facilities are located in the site compound for your use, and any person found abusing the facilities or using other parts of the site as a toilet will be expelled from the site immediately. Please do not create hazards for yourselves and others by leaving debris, materials or other litter around the site or in the accommodation. The site may operate a segregation of waste system, so please ensure that the individual items of waste are only placed in the correct skip. If you are negligent when separating waste, costs for contamination of the skip will be passed on to the subcontractor responsible. As an environmentally conscious company, we would like to draw your attention to potential for environmental damage. To minimise these impacts, all fuel must only be stored in designated double-skinned tanks specific for fuel storage, and supplies must be kept locked when not refilling plant. Loose 210-litre drums are not permitted. Where there is concrete being used on site, delivery vehicles must only wash out in designated areas. We do not allow washout onto unprotected ground. There are designated material storage areas on site, and these will be pointed out to your supervisors. Please ensure materials are stored in a tidy and safe manner. Portable LPG products must only be stored in lock cages when not in use. Materials in containers to be kept on shelves and nothing stored on top. Accidents and emergencies. All accidents and near misses, no matter how small, must be reported to a member of ISG Jackson's site management or first aider immediately. Please enter all details of any injury into the site accident book, which is located in the site office. Each site has their own fire plan, which is displayed in the site office and canteen. The arrangements for this site will be covered following this presentation. If you see a fire, please raise the alarm, shout "Fire! Fire!" and then operate the nearest alarm point. Inform the nearest ISG Jackson site supervisor, call the fire brigade. On hearing or raising the alarm, leave your work area immediately, stopping any machinery, and go to the assembly point. Here you must act under the instructions provided by the site manager or fire warden or fire marshal, and only return back to work when instructed to do so. If the emergency is environmental, please inform the site manager and follow the instructions defined in the Environmental Emergency Plan. Conclusion. The DVD or inductor will now go through site-specific issues covered earlier in the presentation. Thank you for your time and attention. We hope that you will enjoy working safely on site for ISG Jackson.